Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Talking about escalation, here it is. It seems like both sides, or I don't know if it's two sides here or more than two sides actually, are using words that threats, words of threat towards one another in a way that I haven't heard before. So this is a kind of a continuation of an article that I was discussing earlier, and it has to do with ballistic missiles. And it's much more than the previous the, the previous article provided. This one provides even more than expected. So let's go and read this from the Telegraph from today, the 21st of June 2022, and this is the title. Putin threatens to deploy new nuclear missile by year-end, and it could hit Britain within 3 minutes. Vladimir Putin warned that Russia would deploy its newest intercontinental ballistic missile, capable of reaching Britain in 3 minutes by the end of the year. I don't know why it's Britain, but probably they have certain reasons. The Russian president, who on Tuesday hosted military academy graduate at a lavish ceremony at the Kremlin, said that his country, not their country, his country, would continue to boost its military capabilities that have been dented by losses in Ukraine. And I'm quoting, "We will continue to develop and strengthen our armed forces, taking into account potential military threats and risks," he said, hailing Russian troops in Ukraine for fighting with courage, professionalism, like real heroes. And I'm quoting again, "There is no doubt we will be even stronger," he added. As part of those efforts, Russia would place the first batch of Sarmat, or Satan II, its newly tested intercontinental ballistic missile, on combat duty before the end of the year, Putin said. The missile, also known as Satan II, has a range of 18,000 kilometers, 18,000 miles, 11,000 miles, I'm sorry, so it's 18,000 kilometers, 11,000 miles, and can deliver between 10 to 15 nuclear warheads at a hypersonic speed while bypassing most radar and missile defense systems. They say they can bypass all of them, but these guys say most of them, so you don't get scared wherever you are. Colonel General Sergei Karakayev, the commander of Russia's strategic missile forces, told Russia State TV last month that the Sarmat missile can fly different trajectories, evading enemy missile defense. And I'm quoting, "There is no existing air defense for the Sarmat missile systems, and it will probably not exist in the coming decades," he said. Other major new additions to the Russian arsenal will include S-500 missile defense systems that, according to Putin, and I'm quoting, "are unmatched in the world," end quote. It came after a Russian television host warned in May that Russia could sink Britain once and for all with a nuclear missile strike or a torpedo that would send a radioactive tsunami. Dmitry Kiselyov, a state television executive and one of Russia's most notorious propagandists, said on an episode of his weekly show that the British Isles are so small that one Sarmat missile will be enough to sink it once and for all. That's exactly what Lieutenant General Lebed said some time ago, before he died, obviously, in a helicopter accident in the Far East. Interesting, right? In the next segment, full of computer-generated graphics, a television host showed how a Russian Poseidon torpedo could plunge Britain into depths of the sea, end quote. Russia successfully tested Sarmat in April, amid heavy fighting in Ukraine, raising the prospect of a nuclear confrontation with the West. Just last month, the head of Roscosmos, the Russian space agency, warned the West that unless they talk politely to the Kremlin, Russia would target it with Sarmat missiles. Crazy talk. Dmitry Rogozin, who is also a close Putin ally, described Sarmat as the, and I'm quoting, most powerful nuclear missile in the world, end quote, and boasted that it could demolish, and I'm quoting, half the coast of a continent of an enemy of Russia. Now, showdown over Lithuania blockade. Putin's saber rattling came amid a showdown with EU member Lithuania, which severely restricted the flow of goods between mainland Russia and its westmost enclave of Kaliningrad, citing EU sanctions. A top ally of Putin told Lithuania on Tuesday that Moscow will respond to its ban on the transit of goods sanctioned by the EU to Kaliningrad in such a way that citizens of the Baltic state would feel the pain. To 2.5 million people, by the way. Nikolai Patrushev, a former KGB spy who is now the Secretary of Russia's Security Council, said that Lithuania's hostile actions show that Russia could not trust the West, which he said had broken written agreements over Kaliningrad. And I'm quoting, Russia will certainly respond to such hostile actions, and quote, Patrushev was quoted as saying by the RIA state news agency. Wow, 3 minutes to London, to Great Britain. That's not good. That's not good and can't be stopped by anybody. I've never, I made video regarding those statements of those television hosts, which I don't really take into consideration because crazies are everywhere and they have no power actually. Maybe just incite the population to, you know, to boast their morale and their pride, but they don't actually have no any power talking about policy and you know, pushing buttons at the military level. So I'm not concerned with crazies. Crazies are everywhere, including the United States. I just watch some mainstream corporate media programs, and you're going to find out how illogical, childish, and below 86 IQ they are. But it's not that concerns me. It concerns me when you have generals or Putin or other individuals that wield real power talking about this, and that means well, it could be, you know, saber rattling or whatever they call it, or bravado, but as I said, Russia has a high level of consistency, high rate. Russia did what they said they will do, so I would take these things into consideration, because if these kind of ideas are in their minds and are talking like this about it, I don't know. I don't think that they will do anything like this towards Great Britain, but certainly the desire and power within is there. So who knows? Who knows who gets to get in power? And these guys say, oh, maybe Putin should go, but who the hell comes after him? A better one? How do you know that? What if it breaks in 5 parts or 6 parts? And then you have to deal with 6 crazies, let's put it, instead of, let's say, 1. What are you going to do then? You, during these kind of times, you know, that's a nuclear proliferation. You know, the weapons are sold, you know, in the on the black market, and rogue states are just emerging. And not Russia. I'll call Russia a rogue state. You haven't seen a rogue state. I mean, you can read and there is one big one actually in the world as we speak, but nevertheless, and it's in a bad mood and also used nuclear weapons, but not rogue state. But there are some books, and it's one of them who's saying the rogue state and talks about United States of America. That's a good book, nevertheless. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So Sarmat Satan 2 is going to be ready, and it takes 3 minutes to go to visit Great Britain. Only one is enough, or half of or a coast of a continent, which obviously talks about United States. All right, well, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.